Hey everyone, it's Kim Record. I wanted to share with you a thought that recently came to mind as I've been ramping up my running distance for my marathon training. It's a realization that's the foundation of my body love tip this week, which is to use pampering as preventative medicine. In other words, if used regularly, self-care therapies, also known as pampering, can yield some amazing results in decreased stress, in improved immunity, and even in injury prevention. Now, here's what just occurred to me this week. As I've shared with you in my previous blog posts, I've started training for a marathon, and for me, this is no easy feat. Even though I've been running for about 15 years, I've injured myself almost as often, and I've always found myself having to start all over again after healing and recovering. So this time, after I registered for the marathon, which I'm starting to realize is going to be quite the test for me because I just ran 16 kilometers yesterday and wanted to sleep all afternoon, so 42 is going to be a challenge. But this time I've been ultra tuned in and extremely careful during my training, and I'm being really diligent in taking care of myself and really listening to my body, paying attention to even the slightest ache or pain, because I don't want to get injured again. And I love running so much, and I want to be able to continue to do it even beyond the marathon, that my running endeavors won't end there. So I'm finding myself doing a lot of pampering type things as preventative measures to take care of my body well enough to prevent injury, and not waiting, as I've done so many times in the past, for injury to happen before I take better care of my body. So I've been doing tons of feel-good stretches, especially on the floor while watching TV rather than just sitting on the couch. And I'm rolling out my muscles pretty much after every run. I'm also getting regular chiropractic care, and I'm consistently applying soothing essential oils to my muscles after running. I even purchased this infrared shiatsu massage chair contraption for my home so that I can start taking better care of my sore muscles between my professional treatments. And so far, so good. It's all working fantastically. But it's really got me thinking. This is probably the first time in my life that I've really been conscious of preventative body care, outside of my regular exercise and nutrition regimens, of course. But I've always considered these other areas to be optional pampering, and I've often scrimped on them, not investing my time or my money in them regularly. So I've just begun to ask why. And what I've realized was the problem is that I have thought, perhaps even subconsciously, that it's difficult to justify these investments unless it was to fix something that was broken. Because when something's broken, of course, we spare no expense to get it fixed and healed and back to normal again. But if it's not broken, we can think of so many other areas where we can better justify the time and the money spent. But what if we were to invest in them before something breaks? How could they save us from having to make the painful recovery in the first place? When I look back at all the running injuries I've had over the years, I wonder if I'd have seen the additional investments as necessary to my regular self-care, as preventative care rather than simply for healing purposes. Could I have saved myself from all of those injuries? Well, it's quite possible that the answer would be yes, but I'll never know. But the truth is that with regular self-care like what I'm doing now, the healing is happening on an ongoing basis. We often don't realize this or take the time to think about this, but every single day, every single one of us is exposed to stress, and often we don't see the effects of this stress until they've compounded so much that they finally result in burnout or injury or illness, and then there's usually a long road to recovery after we reach that point. And sometimes by the time we get to that point, our natural pampering therapies aren't always enough, or they may take a lot longer to work than we'd like them to, and so then we'll turn to the not so natural therapies like prescription drugs, which almost always have undesirable side effects. So what if we were to see investing in our pampering and in our self-care as a necessity rather than optional? Now, that's not to say that we need to go and invest in all the healing modalities all the time for good preventative health, but I do know that we all have our go-to solutions when we're faced with a need for healing or simply some restorative therapy. And if we invested in these a little bit more often, like weekly rather than just occasionally, as a self-care measure for prevention, we'd probably have much fewer instances of injury, burnout, and illness. So this week, how can you use your own pampering methods to keep your body, mind, and soul all healthy? Perhaps you could start by just listing a few of your favorite therapies, both the professional ones and the free ones that you can do at home. And then make a plan to invest in at least one this week. Things like meditation and stretching and aromatherapy baths, these are just a few examples of pampering therapies that are very inexpensive, if not free, and can still reap major benefits. So it's extremely important for us to remember that it's okay to take care of ourselves even when things aren't broken. Self-care is definitely not selfish. It supports you and it supports everyone around you who depend on your well-being for their well-being. So I'd like to know, what are your go-to therapies that you can start using as preventative medicine right away? Let me know in the comments and let's start a conversation. If you like this tip, please share it with the women in your life who could use a little bit more body love. And also consider joining my body love community by clicking on the link below and subscribing for your free gift. And you'll start to get these directly to your inbox every week. So until next week, have an amazing and beauty-filled week. Bye for now.